Hi everybody, welcome to part 5 of our two-story house tutorial. What we're going to be doing here is, I think it's time to start separating the two stories of the house and put a roof on it before we add any more windows or any other more detail like that. Now, I'm going to be doing a couple changes to my house I just wanted to share with you. These are things you might want to do as you design. I took the line tool and I used it to find where the midpoint is about halfway up my house. And when I go halfway across, it looks like that door is pretty high up. It doesn't look like the first story is going to have much headspace. It looks like the ceiling's going to be very short. So I'm going to hit escape to take that apart. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my house a little bit taller. So I'm going to go to the push-pull tool, and I'm going to raise the height of my house a little bit more. I can make a really bad dad joke right now about raising the roof, but I'm not going to do that. And if I go back to my line tool again and find about where the midpoint is, okay, that looks a lot better. And by the way, I'm just hitting escape to stop drawing that line. The other thing I noticed is my house goes very deep in the back, and I wanted this to be more of a house that's long in the front and the back, but not as deep. So I'm going to use my push-pull tool, and I'm going to push this side of the house in just a little bit. Again, these are fine little details that I'm doing that you don't have to do. But I recommend is as you make your design, constantly be looking at what you're making and making little changes if you don't like how the way things are going. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to separate the two stories. So I want you to, once you have the house about the shape you like after making the door, select the line tool. And we're going to zoom in a little bit, but we want to be able to see both edges of our house. We're going to go up to the midpoint. I'm going to click and let go. I'm going to go across to the other midpoint, click and let go. And now I've separated my house into two stories. I'm going to do this to make an effect that you see sometimes on two-story homes. I'm going to go to my push-pull tool, and I'm going to pull the second story out just a little. You'll see this effect on a lot of homes, like I said. Also, can add as a little awning to people walking up to the doorway. You don't want to bring it out too far, just a little bit. So that looks pretty good to me. I like that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the save button. And now we're going to add a really important feature to our home. We are going to add a roof. And we're going to make one of those very classic triangular shaped roofs. Now to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to have to adjust our camera to get a side view over here, just like this. So take a moment and get your camera just where you want it so you can kind of see the side, a little bit of the top. And now we're going to use our line tool. So I'm going to click the line tool. And I'm going to walk you through what I'm clicking, because there's going to be points in this where it looks like I'm clicking and dragging, but I'm not. I'm going to go to the far corner of the house where I want to start the roof. I'm going to click and let go. So I've got this line. Now what I want to do is I want to make a roof that goes up here, makes a point, and comes down on the other side. But I want to make sure the point is right in the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my mouse without clicking anything and go along this side edge of the top of our house and find the midpoint. Now don't click. I repeat, don't click your mouse, just find the midpoint. And once you do, if you start moving your mouse up, the computer's going to make, or SketchUp's going to make this cool dotted line that shows you're coming up from the midpoint. Now it's really hard to lose. Sometimes SketchUp thinks you're trying to go in a different direction, but just kind of wiggle your mouse, move it a few different directions, and you should be able to get something that looks like this. Again, move your mouse a bit. It does take a bit of work for SketchUp to figure out what you're trying to do. And when I've got the roof about as high as I like it, I'm going to click and let go. Pretty cool. And now it's got another line automatically attached. So I'm going to go down to this side, to this corner of the house. I'm going to click and let go. And if you did this properly, you got this cool little triangle. And I'm going to adjust my camera over to this side. And now I'm going to go to my push-pull tool. And I'm going to click and drag this all the way out. And check it out. We are making a roof of our house. And I'm going to want to stop right on the edge right there. Now, when I zoom out, I may be like, oh, I want my house to come to a little more of a peak or a little less of a peak. If you want to adjust that, how tall the roof is, you can go to this move tool and select the thing that looks kind of like north, south, east, west compass. And if you get your camera just right, you can click this line and actually drag up to make that a little bit taller. Now you got to be careful. Look at what it did. I thought I was dragging it up, but it dragged it that way. So I'm going to hit undo. It is really hard to get SketchUp to know exactly what direction you want to go. So play around with it a little bit. When it says it's on the blue axis, that's how you know you're going up and down. And then let go. Again, spin your camera to make sure you didn't drag it out in a weird direction. Okay, that's looking pretty good for the roof of the house. The next thing that we're going to do with this is we are going to make a little awning. Well, actually, what we're going to do is we're going to make a little awning on the side. To do that, we're going to click our push-pull tool. And I'm going to push this side in just a little. And I'm going to push this side in just a little to give the illusion that that roof is overhanging. Now, didn't mean to do that. Again, you can always do the undo button if you do something you don't like. Again, give it a spin. Make sure you've got everything even. You can also push this back in a little to give a little overhang there. See how there's a little overhang? And we can do the same back here. We can push this in a little just to give a little bit of an overhang to give that illusion. All right, so congratulations. Now we have what looks like a two-story house, and we have a roof on top.